Lions earned that title by being some of the most dangerous apex predators on the planet. For the most part, humans have lost their respect for these large mammals, though. Lions are massive mammals that are loaded with muscle and the power to kill. A single lion has the ability to attack and kill multiple humans in a single event. So in this video, we are going to discuss horrific moments. Lion attack people. But before starting the video, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe to never miss out on any of our videos. The Tsavo Man-Eaters. Lion attacks in history happened in Tsavo, Kenya. In 1898, two man-eating males began picking off and killing people. It's believed that somewhere between 30 and 100 individuals were killed, with the former total being more likely than the latter. The killings became so frequent that the men working on the Kenya-Uganda Railway began to flee the area. The lions were unusually bold, and they would actively prowl the workers' campsites and drag them from their lodgings to kill them. As a result, a man named John Henry Patterson was tasked with killing the creatures. He recruited dozens of men, set traps, and eventually hunted the two lions down and killed them. Their skins and skulls are still on display in a museum to this day. A 22-year-old woman was mauled to death by a lion. While on vacation in a game reserve outside Pretoria in South Africa, a 22-year-old woman was attacked and killed by a lion as she took photos outside the fenced area of a camp. A lioness was charging after an impala, but encountered the young woman instead. The victim was not staying at the camp, and instead was a guest of a friend, and was intending to interview the camp's manager before tragedy struck. Game of Thrones editor was mauled to death by a lion in South Africa. 29-year-old Catherine Chappell was being driven through a lion park in South Africa when a lioness took hold of the graphic effects creator. Witnesses noted that Chappell had her windows down and was taking photographs of her surroundings just moments before the lioness attacked, according to Express. Chappell was not in Johannesburg simply to see the sights. Rather, the film editor was on a volunteer mission with the aim of protecting wildlife throughout the country. A family was attacked by lions while in a UK safari park, but lived to tell the tale. Glenys Newton shared a terrifying experience from her childhood with The Guardian. Then 5, Newton went on vacation with her family to Longleat, a safari park in the UK. The group found themselves immediately next to a lion. But unfortunately, the young Newton thought it would be advisable to roll down her window and pat the lion on its head. Needless to say, the lion did not take kindly to the gesture, roaring as the family frantically rolled up the window. This set the other lions in motion, and soon, they were climbing all over the car, leaving paw prints as proof, according to Newton. While the car was battered and bruised, the occupants of the vehicle were physically unharmed. Lion attacks a circus trainer in front of a horrified audience in Ukraine. This is the terrifying moment a lion suddenly attacked a circus trainer in front of a large audience of children and parents in Ukraine. The crowd screamed in fear as well-known Hamada Kauta was overpowered by an irate big cat that sank its teeth into his arm and clawed him. The 32-year-old was floored by the beast, which suddenly turned aggressive in the ring. His arm, leg, and back were mauled and clawed before he managed to fight the animal off. The horrific attack was mid-act in a circus performance in Lugansk, a city in rebel-held eastern Ukraine. Kauta, from Egypt, who has worked in Russian circuses for many years, fought off the lion, which then retreated. He then faced up to it as the predator eyed him for a new attack. Finally, the big cat retreated and ran out of the ring to its cage. A mother watching with her two children told the Daily Mail, "My heart stopped when the lion pounced at the trainer." The Champawat tigress attack. The Bengal tigress who had been shot by a hunter, the tigress had become a man-eater. Hunters were sent to kill the beast, but she was too cunning and was seldom even seen by them. But they failed to capture the tigress. She became bolder and more fearless, and eventually, she started attacking in broad daylight and prowling around villages. Men wouldn't even dare leave their huts to work, for they could hear the roaring of the killer tigress in the forest, waiting for them. One Fay himself tried to capture Gustav by building a huge underwater trap, but although the crocodile did show up, he never approached the cage. He just swam around it, as if mocking his would-be captors. Said to be over 60 years old, Gustav is probably too experienced and smart to be fooled. so it seems likely that he will continue with his depredations and perhaps soon claim the title of the most prolific man-eater for himself. Things have changed a lot since the times of the Champawat tigress. Patrice Faye no longer wants to kill Gustave. He wants to protect him from human retaliation. By capturing Gustave alive and keeping him in a safe enclosure, Faye hopes to save human lives as well as the man-eater himself, and perhaps use him as breeding stock to help the conservation of the Nile crocodile as well. A lion attack on a 2-year-old toddler. A terrifying encounter between a 180 kilograms lion and a 2-year-old toddler at a zoo in Chiba, Japan. The boy, who was reported to be visiting the zoo with his family, was staring at the lion through a glass panel until he broke eye contact and turned his back on the big cat. The lion, which was crouching on all fours in the background, suddenly leaped into the air towards the boy. Its approach was halted by a glass panel that divided the animal from its audience. The audible crash startled the boy, who momentarily lost his balance from the ledge he was standing on, and quickly turned to find the lion pawing at the glass panel. He continued to rub his head in confusion while watching the lion warily until it stopped its advances. Mad lioness eats 3 brothers. The 4 brothers, aged between 9 to 11 years, and all primary school students at Orbalbal Ward in Tanzania's northern Ngorongoro district, ventured out into the forest to trace their lost cattle only to face the wrath of a furious lioness. The boys, feeling a false sense of security, were stalked by a lioness who mauled them to death. The lioness, one of the animals, darted with a very high-frequency collar and ate the bodies of the boys. As terrified Lekitomi sat tightly on a branch of the tree for his dear life, a sharp smell wafted faintly through the air. No sooner had the boys vanished into the forest, a wave of regret and anger welled in among Goyal villagers, who embarked on a desperate search in the dew-laden forest. Lion attacks man who walked into its enclosure. The owner of the park got inside the enclosure to investigate a strange smell. The lion was facing away from the man and walking in the opposite direction at first. However, the man is suddenly seen running away from the lion, who chases after the man. While the man tries to get out of the enclosure, the lion, too quick for him, grabs and drags him away. As onlookers are heard screaming and begging for help, the lion stops and then tries to drag the man further inside the enclosure. It's only after some shots are fired that the lion leaves the man and runs towards a different part of the enclosure. The man is currently in critical condition, reports The Sun. The lion has reportedly been put down after the terrifying attack. Mountain lion attacked a child in Texas. Amber Michelle Couch had already received citations from the Animal Control Department of Odessa, TX, related to her 150-pound pet mountain lion. The animal wasn't current on his vaccinations and his cage was too small for his size. Not only that, but the gaps in between the bars were too wide, a safety hazard to anyone who got close. A young boy got too close to the cage and the lion jabbed a paw through the gaps, slashing the child's face and his left side. The child survived, but the lion was put down. This was all for today. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon for more updates and notifications.